Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Before I show you the project we're going to be making today, I'll take care of the housekeeping notes. In the description bar below will be all the product I use and all the dimensions, so you can recreate this card for yourself. Oh yeah, I just said card. We're making a card. Also, you will find a link to my online store. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be yours. If you have any questions about Stampin' Up's products or want to see something made on this channel or have any other questions, please drop me a line at my email address, which is below. Also is a link to our small but fun Facebook group, and we'd love to have you join it. Finally, remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel to help me grow in YouTube world. It's most appreciated. And if you ring the little bell, you get notified every time I upload a new video. So on with the project. We are going to be making a card, and I'm going to show it to you in just a minute, but we are going to be using this beautiful sun print paper. I bought this a while ago, and I had not even played with it yet. And I thought, well, I need to get this out and play with it. So I wanted to show you these beautiful pictures. Look at this. Isn't this amazing? If you're a scrapbooker, this would make a beautiful scrapbook layout. And we have some little blotches. The colors in this paper are Pacific Point, Starry Sky, Night of Navy, and Gray Granite. Maybe remember making sun prints when you were a child? Sometimes you made sun prints even as an adult. You set paper out and it gets discolored in the sun. And then on the flip side, we have just some real nice generic, looks like a really nice sky or clouds. Some very generic, but very beautiful paper. So this is Sun Prints. And since we're using Sun Prints, we're going to use the Nature's Print stamp set today in dies. And we're using a few. I've already got them out. We're going to be using these three, the blotch, and Best Wishes and Happy Thoughts. So let me show you what we're going to be making. We're making this card here. It's quite a simple card, but I think very beautiful. And we just have a little stamping on the inside and lots of room to write your verse. So, on with the project. First, we're going to do some stamping because then we have a little bit of die cutting to do. So, I have a big piece of paper here so we can start stamping, and my envelope because we are going to be using that. So the first thing, our envelope, I'm going to go ahead and grab it because it's the first ink. The first color we're going to use is Night of Navy. And this is the one that looks like a fern. And I'm going to stamp it in the center, and then I'm going to twist it and go 3 times to give a very nice effect for the corner of our card. And the next thing we're stamping, now we don't need our scratch paper anymore, on this big, you don't need this big of hunk. This is just what I had available standing around here. This is the one that looks like sort of like wheat. Oop. I'm going to stamp him right there. Out of Night of Navy. The next thing we're going to stamp is this beautiful one. And we're going to stamp it in Starry Sky. The detail in this stamp is really beautiful. Told you the detail is quite beautiful. I'm sorry, Smokey's outside crying again. Hopefully she will just give up in a moment. And we're doing Starry Sky for our verse. Just like that. And the last thing we actually have to stamp is the inside of our card. So we're stamping. the inside of the card is 4 by 5 1/4, standard size. Grab this back out. And this is the blotches that are in there, and this is Gray Granite. I wanted to pull a little of the Gray Granite from the front into the inside. And we're going to stamp 3 times in that corner. And just twisting and turning in 3 sides in that, just to add a little color to that page when it goes inside. We'll see how relentless she is. So we'll set this one aside, and we need to get our cutting machine out. Now, all of these would cut out out of the mini machine, but there's a die. And this is the die that we're going to cut this huge wreath out. That needs the big cut and emboss machine. Or in my case, a Big Shot. Move my ink stamps, my stamps over. So follow the instructions for your machine. Mine is a plate on top of my base and a piece of cardstock. Now this is Gray Granite, and this is approximately 4 by 4. It can be a different shape as well, but that was an approximate size I needed to cut this. Now, as I've said in the past, and if you've been watching me for a while, you know this is a very old machine. We've been trying to establish how old this machine is. We know it's over 20 years old. So I do need a shim. If you have a Stampin' Cut Emboss machine, you probably do not need a shim unless your machine is extremely ancient. So I have this old cardstock. Anybody recognize that bright color? That is Passion Pink. I use the older retired card for shims and making mock-ups, and sometimes I just want that color and I use it. And then I'm going to run this back and forth a couple times. Like I said, this is an old machine. The pressure is going on it, and yes, I know I need to get a new machine, but it leaves a little impression. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over as gentle as I can. Oh, it's not going to flip over. Looks like we have cut out. So let's lift this off here a little bit. I want to do it gently. I don't want to. Okay, so we do have some pieces stuck in here, and we'll get those out in a minute. Let's go ahead and get the rest of our die cutting done, and then we can get the Big Shot out of the way. Get these little pieces off here so it doesn't interfere with the die cutting of the other pieces. So we have 3 other pieces to cut out. I'll set this over here. We have our wheat. And if you line up in the center, I don't know if you can see that it's darker there. That is the end of this. And I'm shifting because this is an old style magnetic plate under here. And it has a tendency to shift, and I don't want it to. Then we have this nice one to cut out this beautiful piece. I just want to make sure I got it nice and even. One of these. And finally, there is a die in the set, and it does fit. You see how the magnets pull. And if I line this right up in there, I grab 2 of this one because it is pulling hard on this. Well, one of these days I will get a new machine. But Right now, it's not exactly in my budget. So, doesn't that look beautiful? So let me get this machine out of our way. These cut out so nicely. If you've never watched me before, that clinging sound was a magnetic bowl, you know, workman's magnetic bowl. If you don't have one of those, you don't need one. I just had a nice gentleman give me one. But if you don't have one, any bowl will do. Just something to set your dies in so you don't lose them while you're working. Okay. So we got all the pieces. Now we need to go back to this piece. And this is just a case. You can buy the cases. And it's got a foam mat that comes with the brush that goes on the end of your take your pick tool. And so what well, this is gonna fall out nice. That's easy. But what this allows you to do is just gently rub and get all the little pieces out. Now this isn't too bad. You can look at it over, flip it over, make sure you don't have any chat hanging off. And that's all cleaned out really nice. Then you can just take this straight to your garbage can, dump it out, and you're good to go for the next time. It is a great little tool. Simple tool, but a great little tool. All right, so we have our die cut pieces here. And we have the inside of our card. Now it's time to build the card. So this is a piece of Starry Sky 11 by 4 1/4 scored at 5 1/2 on the 11-inch side. This is a piece of the Sun Print paper. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And we're just going to go ahead and set the inside in first. And I don't think I burnished this. I'm going to do that right now. And you could change the color on the inside or not even put the blotches if you wanted. You could put that little flower. But I really wanted to carry some of that Gray Granite from the front to this side of the card. And you can write right over it, so works rather well. So I told you she would give up eventually. Yeah, they were in here earlier and I was working on a project and I had some blending brushes. I had Bermuda Bay on one of the blending brushes. And Shasta, being a white kitty, white and black, she happened to brush against the Bermuda Bay. So she has a little blue on one leg. They haven't learned how to stay out of stuff yet. So the next thing I wanted to do is I wanted this on here and I wanted this on here. So I'm just sort of playing around with the thing. Now I could put this over the top, but then it covered this up. But you've seen this through the holes, so I decided to put this at an angle up into the corner this way. But you could change it and you could put it any way you want. So I figured we'd put one down and one out. And you could turn this any way you wanted. I actually sort of like this pointed edge going down and the leaves coming around. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going into some of the bigger areas and just dabbing glue. You could use the fine tip. You could put an adhesive sheet behind this before you cut it and cut it out and make it into a sticker. And sort of place that right in the middle. If a few pieces come up, that's okay. Like I said, this is a very easy card. And this one here, put a little glue on this one. And I'm going to stick him right about here. So he's coming out the top. And then we're going to, I know it's not sticking down, but it will, because we're going to put this right about here. The other one I put more in the center. This one I'm going to put off to the side a little bit. And we're going to put that on dimensionals. And the other thing I need is a little bow. And this is our bordered ribbon. This is Night of Navy. And I've already tied the bow. And I'll trim off just a little bit on that bow. So we're going to get this up on dimensionals. Like I said, use dimensionals right till there's nothing left. And this is my package where the little holes keep on popping out, but that's okay. But yeah, these sun prints, I just really love this paper. So I'll put that right about there. You could add more flowers and stuff, but I didn't think it really needed. I wanted to sort of show off everything. And then we have our little bow. I'll grab a blue dot for that. And I'm going to tuck this right on the edge of this, right in the center. Yeah, there we go. Now, if you wanted to tie, glue these down so they weren't moving around, you could do that as well, but I like mine free. And then I looked around and I said, it needs some bling. I looked at different things and I decided to go with the Enamel Dot Essentials. They're not blingy, but they have really turned out to be one of my new favorites, which I was really surprised. But we're going to put on here a large one and a couple mediums, not a small. And this is Night of Navy. So I think I'll put this one down here. I'll put a medium-sized one up here. And I'm going to put another one on the label. So like I said, keep it pretty simple. And so this is our very simple little card using sun prints. So thank you for joining me today. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and help support this YouTube channel. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. I'll see you on Wednesday. Goodbye.